So recently, I was browsing Netflix just looking for some good movie to watch so I could fill up the empty void where is my mind. And then I saw there was the Slenderman movie from back in 2017. And I figured, oh, it's Halloween, it's free, why not watch the Slenderman movie? Because I'd heard lots of people talking about just like how absolutely terrible it was, and I'm gonna be so for real. I was like, they're probably just hating because it's a video game movie, and then I watched it, and yeah, people were just kind of hating because it was a video game movie. But after I watched it, I felt really compelled to make a video about it because it felt like no one was talking about this movie anymore, obviously, because it's like 6 years old. I don't know why I even bothered saying that, but I wanted to talk about the goods, the bads, and if I overall thought it was a good movie or not. So strap in. And big warning, there is going to be spoilers, obviously, because I'm going to be doing like a small synopsis of the plot. Like as I'm talking, I'll let you guys know what's going on. So, and I gotta start this by saying I watched this movie like 3 days ago and I already forgot probably like 30% of the plot and story. So that kind of tells you the kind of movie that we're going to be covering. So it starts off with this group of teenage girls giggling, being annoying, doing their usual teenage girl thing, and they talk to this group of dudes at school. They like try to raise them up or something. These guys are like, oh, we're gonna do something crazy tonight. And then another guy of the group, yeah, I don't remember anyone's name either, basically, so I'm just gonna refer to them as that person, and it will zoom in on them. Editor Casserole will take care of it. Anywho, the guy tries to tell his girl, he's like, oh, we're gonna do it. The other guy smacks him in the face. He's like, yo, it's secret. The girls are like, okay, what a couple of nerds. So they go, we get a cut till it's nighttime. The girls are hanging out in the basement of one of their friend's house while her drunk, abusive father is sleeping above them, getting another bottle deep inside his gut. One of the girls says, hey, guys, guess what? One of the boys told me what they're doing. They're all like, oh, what are they doing? She says they're trying to summon the Slender Man. Two of the girls laugh. The other girls are like, who the frick is Slender Man? Rightfully so. So they explain who Slender Man is. They go to a random website. Well, here's the weird thing. They look like they go to like a creepypasta wiki or something, and then it looks like they randomly just click a link onto a whole nother website where a video pops up. Just gotta say, that's some terrible decision making from them, because like, what? Okay, anywho, they watch the video, and it's a video on how to summon the Slender Offender Bender Man himself. But as they're trying to watch it, a bunch of crazy, like thousands of images just start flashing up. Just these random, real creepy images. They see some instructions that are like, yo, if you hear a bell 3 times, you're about to die. So they're like, oh, okay. And it gets pretty weird because it's some weird images too, just like flashing and flashing. And I don't know about y'all, I haven't looked into it too much, but I think there is a thing where if you watch a video and it flashes like certain images with music and sounds and stuff, it can like do some sort of weird like implant thing into your brain. I'm not 100% about that, but I know they can kind of do that with music where they can like make you feel ill or something with just like some underlying note in the background. So it's basically kind of what happens to the girls. They turn it off, and despite being all giggly, they're obviously pretty unsettled because it was like a weird video. So all the girls go home, and if I'm remembering correctly, nothing crazy happens until we get another cut where they're going to in this like school trip thing, and they're just chilling, right? They're like in a graveyard near the forest. They are just like, they're little friend groups together. Our main character, like there's main characters, but our main character is this chick. If I remember right, her name's like Clary. It's like some weird variation of Claire. I don't remember because I didn't care enough. Anywho, her and her friends are chilling, and one of the friends, Rachel, if I'm not mistaken, the one with the red bushy hair, looking like she's from that one movie Brave off of Disney, she's acting really weird. So the rest of her friends are like, yo, Rachel, what's the problem? Actually, no, that's not even true. I just lied. Here's the crazy thing. Rachel is acting weird with everyone knowing she has some abusive, like, alcoholic father and, like, obviously a pretty tough life because she doesn't have a mother. And she's acting all weird and quiet and lonely, and none of her friends bother to check on her.
You what?
And they do this weird thing where they, like, grab each other and they say, let's go, and she ignores them once. The fact that they wouldn't even follow up, because, like, what if it's a serious problem? Like, her dad beat her really bad today or something. I mean, honestly, these are just some terrible friends off the bat, because they straight up was like, okay, we don't care about what's going on. But, I digress. So they leave Rachel behind and go ahead with the rest of the group. Our main character rizzes up her love interest a little more, some random goober named Josh or something like that. And then Rachel goes missing, with a cut of Rachel going off into the woods to meet the offender man. I do have to say, I'm gonna make a little, because I didn't want this video to just be me talking about the entire plot, so I'm obviously gonna have little cuts of how I like felt about the movie or parts. But I really liked how they represented Slenderman in this film. I think like having him as like a tree demon creature as well, where like he's one with the forest that he lives in, is pretty cool. Because to be fair, and you have to give them credit, they didn't really have much to go off of, because the original Slenderman movie, the original Slenderman game, it's literally just some tall dude in a suit chasing you and teleporting. So like the fact that they went a little deeper and managed to make him like have some sense of like what he is, and added some really cool things like the tentacles and stuff. I really appreciate they did that, and they didn't just go with the lazy route, like it's just some dude living in the woods. They're like, nah, this is like a tree demon from another dimension. Rachel disappears, friend group freaks out. Some of them basically don't believe that it was Slenderman, but the other ones are like locked in and they're like, yo, this seems weird. So our friend group now has a group of 3, and they grow out into the woods, and the one girl, I think her name is like Cher or something like that, like Sherry. She's like, I found out a video on how to summon Slenderman, guys, and we're gonna summon him to get our friend Rachel back. And they're like, okay, fine, what we gotta do? She's like, you gotta take something you really love, like a material possession that you really love, and you gotta rip it up. So they go out into the woods at like 9 p.m. They're chilling around a stump. They just destroy their various things. They put it in the stump, and then they're like, okay. And Cher gives them both blindfolds. She says very specifically, she says, no matter what happens, do not take off the blindfold. Alright, I think you guys can already see why I'm being very heavy-handed on the do not take off the blindfold. They're chilling. The black chick of the group, she's like, I think her name was like Leo, if I'm not mistaken. Leo's like, yo, I don't believe in this, this ain't gonna work. But she's obviously getting scared. And Cher's like, shut up and put on the blindfold. So they do. They all sit, they clasp hands, they sit for a little while, and they do hear some weird rustling and creaking. And the woods goes completely silent, and then they start hearing all the rustling and creaking. And Leo gets pretty scared, so Leo literally, a few minutes after she was specifically told to not do the simplest thing ever, she grabs her blindfold, she takes it off, and she runs into the woods because she gets scared. Her 2 friends are left there blindfolded like, yo, what's going on? Spoiler alert, she runs into Slenderman, quite literally bumps into him. He grabs her, and we cut back to the friends. They take off their blindfolds because they're like, oh, Leo's gone. They find Leo. Leo's walking back to them. She's like, oh, nothing happens. Obviously, they don't believe her because, like, duh, something happened. She's got some weird black stuff on her face, and, you know, she's talking real weird and deadpan. So we go through a lot of the movie. The characters start having experiences, like, where they see Slenderman like in public places, or they see him in the woods, or they see him like everywhere. And I will admit, this movie is just not that scary to me, only because it felt very, what's the word, campy. I don't know about y'all, but when I watch a movie and they're trying so hard to manipulate how you're feeling with just like music, it absolutely turns me off from the entire movie. Because, like, they'd have scary moments, and they're playing, like, the most dramatic, scary music, and it would instantly be unscary. Like, if they just had some, like, deep ambience, or honestly even nothing going on, then, like, a lot more of the scenes could have been, like, actually scary to the point where I'm like, oh, this is creepy. But also on top of that, the movie itself felt really campy, where, like, Slenderman CGI was pretty decent, except for some scenes where he just looked really weird, like, especially from behind. But you know what? I'm pretty sure this wasn't funded by a big group, so I don't really know what the movie budget was. I don't think they made it back, though, if I'm going to be honest. There were some scenes that did really actually, like, kind of unnerve me in the moment, and I'll talk about those later. So now I'm gonna speed run the rest of this. Eventually, every member of the group basically gets picked off, goes insane, because Slenderman takes over their mind and seeps into their brain. It eventually leaves us with our main character and her little sister. Now, her little sister apparently also attempted to summon Slenderman, so she ends up going kind of crazy. But it seems like she's also some sort of weird connected psychic thing, because she can see what's happening to her sister and her friends and stuff like that. Our main character at this point has gone off the rails, right? All her friends are missing, or just like psychologically broken. She's seeing Slenderman everywhere. Like when she walks through a hospital, she's genuinely seeing him like everywhere. And her little sister has been taken by Slenderman too. So she runs out into the woods. She says the only thing that he wants is me. So she runs out into the woods. She screams, "Come get me!" And then freaking Slenderman comes and gets her. When we have this actually kind of like ominous scene where he just detaches from a tree and he has like hundreds of these fat, thick tentacles like lifting him into the air, and he's like 10 feet up. That was pretty crazy. Something I did like was the tentacles. For some reason, them giving Slenderman just a ton of like black, weird, like tree, oily tentacles actually made him like a lot creepier, because it's like, yo, this is so foreign looking. He looking like Kaneki out of Tokyo Ghoul when he goes into his Kakujin mode, alright? If you watch, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anywho, girl decides, you know what, never mind. She screams, runs away, tries to hide. Bro grabs her, and then we have a flash of a ton of really weird, like uncomfortable looking scenes. If I can find the clip, then editing Casserole will throw it up on the screen. Emphasis on the throw up, because some of these, I mean, in just like a random flash scenes, no preparation, I was kind of like, what am I supposed to be looking at here? It was really weird. So it ends with basically Slender Boy got everybody except for the little sister, and as far as we know, it seems like the little sister kind of made it out all right. And yeah, so that's the movie. Honestly, if I'm gonna have to sit down and be honest here, I would give it a 5 out of 10, because like I said, there were some scenes and some moments where I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy or eerie or unnerving, and I think a lot of people just really hated on it, partially because it was a video game movie. And let's be real, a lot of video game movies suck, so I think people just went into it with low expectations and didn't try to really give it a chance. But the thing about this is that it did follow like a different plot than the game, because the game was so simple. The, you know, company was like, well, we can't make a movie that's literally just the game, so they gave us like original characters, an original town, a sort of original story. So I think that's where it did better than other video games, because in those video games, you know, there's a big story, there's a plot. But the truth is, in the Slenderman game, you literally just find 7 pages. That's the whole quote-unquote story. So it forced them to make like something new, and I think that was a really good choice, because it actually, I think it made for a way more entertaining movie. But I am not gonna... Okay, so now that we've gotten through the good things, we're gonna talk about the bad. First bad, main characters were unbearable sometimes. It was, whether it was the acting or like the unrealistic things they would do, or just being weird, like not great people. Like our main character throwing off her friends for like to go hang out with a guy that she barely knows so she can get freaky with him, while her friends are quite literally dying, having their brains melted. That was a really weird choice to me, because it sets it up like they've been friends for a long time, and then she just abandons them and gives up and doesn't try to help. So everyone falls to madness, sorta, because she didn't try to help do anything. Another bad thing, once again, the CGI was great in some scenes, but then in others it was just...
Hey, come here.
real awkward looking, but you know what? I'm not gonna hate on it, because I don't think they had like a ton of money. Like, actually, no, here's like positive thing. Some of the dialogue was pretty realistic. Like at the start of the movie with the friends talking and stuff, I would say it was decently realistic. And then as the movie went on, it got more like just straight up stereotypical, like, we can't leave her behind, guys, we have to try. Like, bro, shut up, bro. Nobody cares. And you know what I mean? If you've watched like any horror movie, how like the way the dialogue goes and stuff like that, they follow like a very similar, like it almost feels like there's no difference between different characters talking. Like it just feels like really fake, and I kind of hate that. I like it when movies feel like a little bit more realistic. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy like some campy movies like Ash versus Evil Dead, the Evil Dead series. Like those movies were made or just really bad and quote-unquote campy, but I still really enjoyed it because it was such a crazy unique experience. But I feel like Slenderman just like it tried too hard with that, and I am telling you, if they had just cut out some of that music, oh, that would have boosted it by like 2 points, because it would be like the creepiest scene, and they just have like the most unnecessary like music or stuff going on. And I'm not gonna lie, I know it's supposed to be like Slenderman is psychologically torturing them and, you know, making them see things, hallucinate, all that. But some of the scenes where like that was affecting the characters just looked unbelievably goofy. Like there's this one scene where our main character is like laying on the couch making out with a random Josh dude. And then his face just starts like morphing into like some weird like motion-y demon thing, and honestly that was like one of the worst parts in the whole movie. Like I internally cringed because I'm like, is this for real supposed to be scaring me right now? It was a little disappointing, some of it. But then on the other hand, it did have some real like just random kind of eerie scenes. So yeah, overall I don't want to make this video too long, because if I get the chance I will just be yapping like for 30 minutes straight. So honestly, yeah, 5 out of 10. If they had really worked on some of the dialogue, polished the scares a little bit, because that was a big problem for me. It just wasn't scary enough. And I don't mean there wasn't like enough jump scares or like people getting ripped apart. I just mean like when you go with a psychological demon, ghost, demon, possession, you know, a mental plot, you need to add more mental stuff. That's where like a lot of movies like Smile wasn't great, but it was scary. Like Smile wasn't good, but it was scary. It had you on the edge of your seat at certain moments because they didn't go over the top with the music. They had a ton of tension throughout the film, but then they would pepper enough scares that it wasn't like too much, just constant tension, nothing else. And I will admit, they did go a little heavy-handed with like some of the jump scares, and typically I don't really like that in a movie, because let's be real, that's a cheap way of getting people to be scared. But if you do it right, then I feel like it works out pretty well. And that's something that like Slenderman obviously just did not have, you know, like, and like I said, not even about the jump scares. If they had just had like more intense moments and they just cut back on the music and just the most anime-esque dialogue, I think it would have actually made for a way better film. But that's just my opinion at the end of the day. All in all, I wouldn't say a bad movie, but I wouldn't say a good movie. Like it was just like the truth is it's forgettable. Like right, I already forgot some of the plot, some of the characters. It's been a few days. I would say it's worth watching if it's free, or if it's on a service that you're already like watching on, like Netflix or something. Then like, yeah, go ahead and watch it. But would I say see in theaters or rent it? Honestly, no, unless it's like $1 to rent, and even then it's like it's your money, bro. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be ranting about topics, TikTok stuff, movies, video game shows. Like, I'm not just a movie guy. I'll just rant about quite literally whatever. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.